Welcome back, Tribe. 24 years of marriage down the drain. Let's get into it.
Divorce is really hard.
Oh.
I thought I could talk about this.
You couldn't.
I am predicting that divorce rates 7 to 10 years from now are going to skyrocket, and it's not because of the Great Divorce. Today's economy is creating a lot of relationships born purely out of financial necessity. There's men and women in their early 20s that are shacking up together now because they can't afford rent on one income.
No, there isn't. You're delusional. 80% of men are getting no play. There are no women shacking up with men to get ahead. They're just sugar babying it up with richer, older men. The young guys are screwed. This woman is already an older harpy, I could tell.
And they've reached a point in their lives that they don't want a roommate. So they're finding a boyfriend or a girlfriend to provide that same kind of financial contribution.
Absolutely
Essentially, I like you a lot. I can tolerate being around you 100% of the time. So let's...
Says no woman ever. No woman ever says that. I'm not going to tolerate a man. Have you noticed the temperature in the room today in the society that we're in? I'm a boss, independent babe. What are men good for? I'm not settling for nothing. What do you bring into the table? Are you delusional? I could tolerate a man. Please.
Let's do this. Since they have both already taken that step of living together, buying furniture and all the domestic stuff, it will be easier to take that next natural step. They'll get engaged. And then they get swept up in all of the excitement of that. They'll get married and they get swept up in all the excitement of that. And then a year later, they start having children. And when those kids arrive, that's when the shit will hit the fan, because it does. Even in the back.
Do you live in the real world? Nobody's having kids anymore. We got the worst statistics. The last reported one was in the history of the United States in terms of, I think, the amount of people getting married. We're not even going to label kids because that is also the lowest it's ever been in the history of the United States. People are shacking up just to save money, and then they're popping out kids magically with the money they don't have, which is why they're forced to shack up together.
Best, healthiest, most secure relationships where people did spend a lot of time getting to know each other and evaluating fit, genuinely loving each other. Those couples slam into the brick wall of parenthood, where priorities change and relationship dynamics shift permanently. You can't go back to that fun couple you were, because now there is a human that needs you. And suddenly you have a lot of people, or you will have a lot of people that never fully understood
Is she projecting?
The commitment of being with that person they chose for a lifetime. It will be a very good time to be a divorce attorney.
Divorce is really hard.
I
thought I could talk about this. I didn't realize
Turns out you
how
couldn't.
raw it was. And I did not expect fucking having a New York City office that I'm commuting into to stir up all of these feelings. I thought I was so past this. I moved out 2 years ago.
Oh.
And I'm not. I had a whole wall in our house of like family portrait, and not in like a corny, horrible way, like in a cool way. Like I had great pictures. And, you know, I only kept the one of my son, and this is one of them.
Oh.
And it's, wait, let me give you a better version.
So why'd you leave?
My son, when he was 8, probably.
You destroyed your family. Why?
We were decorating for Christmas.
Sounds great.
And I remember how lonely I would feel every Christmas. But then I look at this picture.
Doesn't compare.
Oh, that was our mirror. And I remember when we bought it. I remember when we bought those sofas, or when we installed those light fixtures. I remember the painting that was right above them, like the stuff in the background. We like put together a life with someone, right?
And you left.
And you think you're going to be with them forever.
And that's crazy.
Your plan. And you go into it fully, earnestly, thinking you're going to be with them forever. And then you're not. I took that of my son.
By the way, just crying on TikTok at your age, especially like a little child doing this, maybe makes sense. Even that is a sign of mental instability. But at this age, this is a massive red flag. If your woman really has like no shame to turn the camera on and share some of the most private, intimate details about their personal lives to millions of people, you're broadcasting this without thinking of the repercussions or what your family would think, or how your son is going to get bullied for seeing his mom crying on TikTok like this, or a slew of things that are happening. What adult, please, somebody explain to me, a healthy, mentally stable, psychologically consistent human being would dare to go on TikTok and cry like this? Why aren't you in therapy?
On a vacation. I think I was still trying but unhappy, but trying.
Right.
It's sad. No one gets married thinking they're going to get divorced. You know, right? What is it? Half of all marriages, or like how many marriages actually end in divorce? Like so many, right?
Which is why it's not worth it.
Like rare that you want to be with someone forever. So if you have that, like, oh, fucking awesome. If you don't have it and you're fighting,
You had it.
fighting for it, and you just can't get there, and then it ends.
You had it, and now you're crying on TikTok. You should have went to couples therapy or something. You should have went and saw some sort of specialist, something to help you get over whatever stupid feelings it was that got you started on divorce papers and ruining your probably looks like he was 16 years old. Imagine the teen angst this kid is going to have, that during his most important influential years, his teens, is when his home was ripped apart because mommy was feeling a certain way. So she said in one of those texts while she was talking that she tried for another 8 years after the picture was taken. Well, if you got another 8 whole years in you, then it sounds like it's a problem you could have solved.
And then it just feels so awful. I'm the one who ended it.
There it is. You see? You see? How did I know? I don't watch any of these. These are all blind reactions. How did I know that the fake crocodile tears, that the regret, that the shame wrought upon herself, watching in the pictures the life she had and seeing her problems weren't actually real problems, and now needing to vent and cope and get adoration from strangers to pat her on the back and make her feel better about the worst decision she's ever made in her entire life. Doesn't even have her son when she's making this video. Guarantee you the boy stays with the father primarily. Guarantees you that's the part that's killing her the most. You lost not only the marriage, your son.
This was my choice. I have this, in my apartment. This is all my stuff. This is my choice.
And do not pity this person or have empathy, because in the year she was divorced, she was getting pumped and dumped absolutely by all the dudes, the Chads and the Tyrones at the office, all the nights out with the girlies, all that bullshit. All of that was going on living in New York City. We know the shtick.
You don't expect it to hurt 2 years later.
This is day 4 of commuting as a divorced gal.
Look at her happy.
That commuting is like really tiring. It felt really different to
see how much bullshit the tears are and the sadness. They only realize they come and go. It's like an ebb and a flow. The tide rises and the tide pulls back, and it pulls back during times of loneliness when Chad decides his meat stick's busy for a woman half her age. That's really all it is. Hate to be brutal, but when she's getting guts rearranged, she forgets about her family entirely.
To commute back and forth to the city and not to come home to my big ass house that I used to live in, and to come home to my small apartment. I used to get into my car and drive home to my house, and my husband would be there, and my son. And now it's now it's my plants. I'm complaining, but it's like, ma'am, this is, what did you think? Like you ended your 24-year marriage. You sold your 5-bedroom house. You sold your dream to try a whole new life. And
there was the truth. I sold my 24-year marriage, my dream, to try something new. I wonder who got in her head and convinced her that something new would be better. That the grass is green on the other side, you boss, strong, independent New York babe. That you will have everything you're absolutely missing from your dream life. Bro, this is why I tell you guys, don't ever get married in the West. It is a complete joke. The women that are surrounding your woman, people in general, will absolutely be the reason for the downfall of the entire dream life you're trying to build, because she's going to be surrounded by chicks that are collecting cats in box wine, that have no man, that are absolutely crabs in a bucket mentality, see your woman happily married, and will do everything they can to destroy her so they don't feel bad about themselves. It's a clown show. Get into a forward-thinking society in regards to family, a family-first society. The United States is not one of them.
I'm fully in that whole new life now, and even though I've been in it now for a couple of years, renting my apartment, it's still not adjusted. I thought it would feel more natural by now, and I guess I'm getting there. And when am I going to get there? Why aren't I there yet? So like tonight, for example, 3 of my best friends are coming over, and
of course,
it's different entertaining an apartment versus your house. Like, I don't have all my shit anymore. I used to have like cabinets where I would keep all of my napkins. Like, I had napkins in every color and all the plates and all the silverware and all. Now I'm like, I don't know where anything is anymore. And I don't even own those things anymore.
You see what happens when you left your man? All your order, all the direction in your life, poof, vanishes. Now she's surrounded by chaos and disorder. She has an apartment filled with crap she doesn't know she even put where it went. She can't even entertain her BFFs, the 3 that were probably in her head, goading her to leave her marriage. Now all of a sudden you're in a stupid apartment, literally living out the stereotypical, I have my plants, next will be a cat, I do box wine with the girlies, why is my life upside down? 24-year marriage, dream life, had everything, 5-bedroom house, upstate New York, I had it all, literally, upper class lifestyle. I threw it away. For what? Chad and Tyrone. Why? Because my girlies thought he was cute. And what happened? I ended up with nothing. Welcome to the idiocy of America. Idiocracy, we're living it in real time. You can write these people's entire chapters in life, how they're going to go from A to B to Z, and they themselves can't see it. I told you guys we're surrounded by bots and NPCs.
Now I barely have matching glasses. Like when you get divorced, you split up all your shit, right? And then you have to go through stuff and you're like, oh, I don't need this. And the platters that I have, I don't use. My refrigerator is just filled up with like flavored seltzer now. But I know my friends don't care, but it's just like it's different. It changes the whole experience. I want to have everything like nice and pretty and I don't know, perfect for them. And they're showing up to just imperfections on.
By the way, how do you know she doesn't have her kid? For the dudes that didn't catch it, a mother whose primary custody is having the kid would not have a fridge full of just seltzer. That tells you enough about the lifestyle she has, okay?
Imperfections. And they've been over before. I have to just go with the flow, right? I have to just not care about those things now because I know they don't matter, but I'm not going to lie. Like it was really nice to be able to have people over and just to have everything like beautiful and perfect and matching and being able to go and sit outside in my backyard. Or now I don't have that. Now my kitchen is my living room and my living room is my kitchen.
That's called regret.
Room.
You're the regret?
I'll make it work.
Look at it.
But I would be lying if I didn't say that something about this week that's making it really hard. Girl, you gave it up. Happy now? And I know nobody's saying that to me, right? Nobody's saying that to me except me.
Do you hear the cope? Yeah, look at the cope, dude. I made a colossal mistake and I cannot walk it back. And my husband moved on with a woman half my age and my son lives with him full time probably. And I gave up everything. I live in a dingy apartment. I can't even host 3 of my friends. Look at the regret. This video is literally coping before she goes mad and probably ODs on medicine or some shit. It's insane.
So maybe I need to stop saying that to me. Like, yeah, I did give it up and I gave it up for lots of good reasons.
I'm sure.
And I put a lot of thought and care and I did not make a frivolous knee-jerk decision. When you make a decision to end your marriage and to end your fairy tale, there are consequences. And some of that is that things won't be perfect and beautiful and exactly as they were. They'll be different. You have to make like an educated guess that, okay, I understand that it's going to be different, but I'm still making that choice. You have no way of knowing how it's going to be until you're in it. So now I'm in it. So I'm going upstairs now. Try to make it cute with my mismatched shit, my mismatched glasses, and it'll be fine, right?
No, it won't.
Yay.
No, it won't.
I miss my backyard.
Cope.
A guy will take that abuse for years, and then one day he can't take it anymore and he slaps her. That's all the world will ever see is the moment he slapped her. They won't pay any attention to anything that led up to it. Nothing else matters. He hit a woman. One of the biggest problems that I have with guys going through divorce is that their own families turn on them.
I interviewed one guy, his whole family believed he was an abuser for they came around like 5 years later, but
I've seen it happen 1,000 times. Guys, their own fathers, their own mothers turn on them and side with the abusive woman. It's amazing. When you take fundamental biological gynocentrism and you turn it into that, you've got a crazy world. I mean, eventually the society will collapse and that'll be the start of something new and maybe a little bit better. But until then, I don't see anything changing. People can turn on their own children because a woman said he hit me or he was mean to me. Man, we're a long way from being able to fix anything.
I know that I am not the most beautiful woman in the world. I know that you don't even believe I'm the most beautiful woman in the world. And that is okay. If we're looking at it from a neutral perspective, no one, you're not going to be like, Amy is the most beautiful woman in the world. I know that I'm the most special person to you. I know that you're attracted to me, and you're attracted to me as an isolated individual. Are you trying to tell me?
Yeah, I would disagree with what you're saying.
Am I the most beautiful woman in the world?
That's the thing is beauty is way more. Beauty in a person is so much wrapped up in that.
100%.
And there's actually no one more beautiful than you. Like genuinely, because there's so much in that. And I want to say that because if you don't feel that from me, that's a big concern of mine. You are the most beautiful person to me because you're the mother of my children, my wife. You are my best friend. I think you're gorgeous. Like all of these things that's beauty. It's not anything else. So I can't just let you say that and move on because that's not true.
Yeah. Thank you.
The end.
This is exactly what I see women get wrong time and time again, because beauty is so much more than surface level. And a big part of that, ladies, is in your actions. It's how you treat him. It's in your personality. It's in your selflessness. It's in your caring and nurturing nature. Those are the things that a good man cares about.
Yeah, but let's not mince some words here. Obviously, he knows fundamentally like what you would consider beauty in society as a whole. Obviously, she doesn't fit the bill, but for him, it's true that mother of my children, you do all these things for me. It puts you in a category that's in and of itself special that no other woman can compete with. Yes, on raw physical attraction, you're not the most beautiful, but because you've mothered my children, done all these other things for me, is my partner for life, is what he probably feels like, my wife, blah, blah, blah. It puts her in a special category. Women don't understand that men have these special categories for these women. That is why when you hear the modern harpies talk about like, oh, you could do everything perfect for a guy, and like once you get older, he's just going to swap you in for a younger model. Like he's always going to cheat with a younger woman. It's like, you're never getting swapped out for anything. There's a big difference between a man stepping out of marriage like a toad and getting his rocks off, but your position as the mother of his kids, his wife, all that other stuff is the furthest thing from being threatened. You have no idea. Some guys just are complete dogs, can't hold it in their pants to save their lives. They may be cheating on you with some chicks they paid for, professionals, some shit like that. But for your position to be threatened and the man to leave his marriage is a completely different beast. It's not the same as when a woman has to go out of her marriage. She falls in love with the guy because for her, sexual interest can only happen when there's an emotional connection. A guy will literally pay a prosty that he doesn't even know her name. It could be Candace. It could be Caramel. He has no idea. Nice ass tits, young, blah, done. Got his nut off anyways. Get out of my face. Like literally it's a piece of meat in front of the guy. That's the same thing you are when a guy is in your DM asking you out to do something. It's not genuine interest. There's no emotional connection there. You are a piece of meat that he wants to satisfy his urge with. End of story. You as the wife have absolutely no threat whatsoever. As long as you keep doing what you're doing, he will keep moving mountains for you. Yes, some guys will step out and pork a Caramel, but those aren't the same things. It's just women only see it from their perspective, because if they were to ever step out of their marriage, a woman has to be emotionally attached, which they think men are doing, and that is a massive threat. Which is why the statistics, when they were polling women, I think it said women find emotional cheating far worse than physical, and then vice versa for men, for obvious reasons. It's underpinned biologically. What do we got here in the comment section? Is divorced after 24 years. Notice how she didn't give the reasons for the divorce. Of course. I hope her son realizes his mother broke up their family and not the father. I'm sure he does, because she doesn't have the kid. Never enter a contract where one party gets to break it. Gets paid to break it. And guys, for example, here in Eastern Europe, some countries, I haven't read them all in Romania just to be sure, but from what I've been told, there's no help from the state. Once you get divorced, you're on your own. The person who keeps the kids is the one who earns the most, because that's in the interest of the child. There's no contract with the state where you get all this incentivized bullshit to absolutely destroy your marriage. Daddy government doesn't exist in Eastern Europe because the governments are small. They don't really have money. So when you get married with somebody, that is why. Check up the divorce rates in Europe and you'll see Romania. I can't speak for everybody else, but it's at 22 to 25%. Something like Russia or Ukraine was like at 80-something%. Some of the other countries around us, Portugal, same thing out there in Western Europe. But here, along with the rest of the Balkans, the more conservative ones are in the 20s, 30s. Everybody else is shot up to 60, 70, 80, even 90%. Clearly, some people, or I should say this country and the other countries around us, are doing something right, because everybody else is messing up big time. Once you come here and see what I mean, like the videos I have up above here, guys, where I'm walking around Romania, I'm showing you what Bucharest looks like. I'm telling you why and what I've noticed when I moved here. the difference between the societies, how men treat each other, women treat each other, how families are seen here, the mentality of the people here, the earning potential versus cost of living here. Look at the videos up above. You'll see exactly what I mean. For those of you that haven't, subscribe to that second channel. Join us on the private community if you haven't for a couple of those calls. Appreciate everybody that's been buying shirts, everybody that's doing the private consults. They help support the channel directly. And let me know your comments below. See you on the next one.